Hey, I'm Ryan Kennelly, and today we're going to take this 1954 Johnson 5.5 horse motor and put it in the water for the first time in 30 years. So I found this little guy on Craigslist. It had some weeds growing up through it. It was leaning up against a garage and covered in vines, and I took a gamble on it and got it home and found that a combination of errors made it so it wouldn't run. So I conquered all, and we got it running in the barrel. So let's see what it does at sea trials. You guys ready? All right, we'll do a little warm-up cycle here. It's kind of cold-blooded. Took me a minute to get it going. I like that shiny oil slick from the 16:1 oil ratio. So keep in mind this motor hasn't run in 30 years in the water. So it's got a little warming up to do, probably re-breaking in the rings. I like that it's got that heavy oil just so it gets those bearings all saturated again. Kind of a dirt bike sound to it. So in one of the forums, somebody said that I should probably put this motor on the other side of the boat. And I didn't really realize what they're talking about because all my other motors have a little slider thing on there to power them up. But the tiller is in my rib cage and it's hard to operate, so I'll probably have to make a bracket to move that thing. All right, for those vintage guys, you'll notice that I've only got one fuel line. That's because I did the fuel pump conversion. And so basically what you got to do is you got to block off one cylinder port so that you can create some suction that operate a little vacuum fuel pump. Actually works pretty good. I was quite impressed how quickly it picks the fuel up and gets on it idle. So I did get the little motor to plane, but just barely. I was really hoping for more than that, but it seems like it's out of guts. I don't know if you can see it back there, but it's pumping water into the back of the boat. Well, that wasn't a bad first test. I might do a little more tweaking on it, see if we can get a little more speed out of it. I really expected it to be up into the double digits, but not bad for a motor that hadn't been in the water in 30 years. The more I run this, the better it runs. You can tell it's getting cleaned out. It's probably got gunk in the transfer ports, and the pistons probably have a ton of carbon on them. And we got newer modern fuel. You know, who knows? There could be spiders in there. I didn't look inside, but I'm pretty impressed at how smooth it runs. And like just a little, you know, just adjust the throttle a little bit. Nothing in the boat shakes. You know, single cylinders, everything that touches the aluminum is going to bounce. So this is far better. I forgot to mention that on this particular motor, I did the conversion kit from points to brakeless ignition. And so I used on this one, the Nova 2s. The Nova 2 is a neat little unit because you throw away the points and condenser, and all it's really doing is taking the energy from the low side of the coil and dumping it on the high side of the coil at the peak point. And so you end up with a little bit of timing advance in it, which doesn't really hurt them because you just adjust the lever wherever you want it anyways. All right, let's see what this thing can do. Oh, here we go. So we came right up on plane. If I get a little farther forward, I can get a few miles an hour out of it. Looks like we broke 10 miles an hour. Here we are. 1954 Johnson 5.5. So funny thing just happened. I was gonna shut this thing off and do some fishing, and it didn't go all the way into the stop position, but it went to the lowest position, and now I'm idling at about 1 mile an hour. So I'm gonna get the paddle out and paddle us back to shore. All right, this concludes our test. Thanks everybody for watching.